Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise for the wonderful Mr. Colin Murray!
Hello, my name's Colin Murray. I'm a presenter, a journalist, and welcome to my Thread Talk. It's a free event, so the crowd made up of some people I know, a lot of people I don't, and the homeless community of King's Cross. You're all welcome. Thread Talks, when I was young, would be the name of the worst TV program you'd ever watched. Thread Talk with Selena Scott. First, we're going to look how to thread a needle, then Christopher Biggins will be here to talk buttons. It's naff. Today, there's no doubt what it's about. The world's changed so much, and thanks to the fact that my mum was a little careless in the summer of 1976, I feel as a 42-year-old, I've had a box seat to the digital revolution the whole way through. So I'd like to use my 15 minutes to just maybe chart that journey. So before we even get to Twitter, a couple of quick things. When I was running around Belfast when I was a teenager at the early 90s and the mid-90s, I was putting on loads of gigs from on-site bands at the time like Snow Patrol and stuff like that. And a guy called Paul McNamee, who's now the editor of Big Issues at the moment, and he worked at the NME, we started a music magazine called Blank. And our mad mate Marty, who was into computers, said, we can do a live web chat with a band. And it's never been done anywhere before in Europe. Now, at this stage, anyone who had the internet at home, it wasn't even powerful enough to download a picture. So we went to the only internet cafe in Northern Ireland. It was called Revelations. And we did Europe's first ever web chat with a guy called Jason Pearce from Spiritualized. Does anyone know the band Spiritualized? A few people. All right, for those people that don't, like the take that of the early 90s, is simple as that. So there we have this guy, sits down, and up pops this screen. No pictures, just literally a list of names started appearing down the side. By the time we started, 64 people were in this chat room, which at the time was like witchcraft. It was unbelievable. These people were going to talk directly to this guy in the band. And that sounds so stupid now. But that was it. That was like the future at that time. That was my first experience, and this is how it ties into Twitter. That was my first experience ever of unfiltered fan content, direct contact with the person. The first question came in, someone from Bristol. Love the new album, ladies and gentlemen. We were floating in space. Jason, what's your favorite track? Brilliant. Jason told Marty. Marty typed the answer up. Favorite track? Job done. Second question from someone in Belgium, which blew my mind. Jason, when are Spiritualized coming to Belfast? Sorry, when coming to Belgium? Jason told Marty. Marty typed it. So far, so good. And that was my first ever experience of any type of social media. And then fast forward a bit, I moved to BBC Radio 1. I was a print journalist. My first ever job in radio or TV was Radio 1. It was a bit bizarre. I never really wanted to do it. And I remember when text consoles were born, we had just got mobile phones, and all you could do was text and snake. And I think that was the first ever Twitter. Because it was the first time ever a DJ could see the direct response from the audience without anyone in between. Up until then, if you hated somebody, you had to write a letter. You had to take the time. And I remember when the text console came in, people were so worried at the station that our DJ's fragile egos couldn't actually accept that someone might tweet in, "I don't like you." They put a filter in. And they put all these words, a bit like a spam filter. If that word was in your text would never reach the screen that the presenter had, right? A friend of mine ran this, and I wanted to see all the messages that weren't being seen by the DJs. So he gave me the right secret web page to have a look, and I used to love reading them. It would be the obvious stuff. Murray, go back to Ireland. You know, Chris Moyles, you fat so-and-so. Scott Mills, where did you get those teeth? It would all be the stuff you'd expect to be in there. But then there was all these texts. We used to always say your name and where you came from. And there was all these texts that would be like, play the new Blink 182 single. And it was banned. Then there'd be a text that said, love the show, the Girls Aloud interview was great, and it was banned. And then I realized that within 2 weeks of setting that system up, Radio 1 had banned every single listener in Scunthorpe. I'll leave that one with you for a little bit. So that brings us on to Twitter. And I was reluctant. I wasn't sure it was for me. I'm not big at telling people what I'm doing. That's what I thought it was about, you know? I thought it was more like, look at me, and then you got loads of abuse, which is what it turned out not to be. And I know when I joined, it was the 11th of May, 2013. And it was when Wigan won the FA Cup. It was that afternoon when they beat Man City. And I didn't know what to expect. I didn't realize that there was 2 million people in Britain just waiting to tell me who I looked like. I must have it. For the first year of Twitter, people just were like, this is who you look like non-stop. Right? And like, hold on a second. They have a point. I'm not sure about the hashtags. I got loads for Seinfeld. I got loads for that as well. Various footballers used to come in. This was the most popular one. And again, I can't fault them. They're pretty accurate. And then it would evolve into people telling me what other people look like. Let me explain what I mean. Pat Nevin looks like Colin Murray's disappointed dad. And then you're like, oh yeah, kind of. I find it's very funny. And then people started telling me that they looked like me. This guy looks all like me. It's ridiculous. But I want to have a look at this one because this is what made me... This is what made me change my entire look. This tweet. And this tweet. And this tweet. And this tweet. Just press that button there, sir. Just, no, that one there, that little arrow. And this tweet. Anyone want a drink? It's my round. I'll just go to the bar. And this tweet. And then there was this tweet that I got as well. And then it was nice because I got this tweet about it as well. And this tweet, and this tweet, and this tweet. I could literally get paid by Samsung for doing this for 3 hours. And this tweet, and this tweet, and this tweet. So I received thousands and thousands of tweets telling me I look like Sue Perkins. It kind of got the worst stage when Sue Perkins was tweeting about me looking like Sue Perkins. I'm in Oxford Circus. And I should explain to this. I look like Sue Perkins. Sue Perkins doesn't look like me. Sue Perkins is talented, famous, and funny. She's way more talented than I am. She's way more famous than I am. She's richer. So I look like her. I would have been happy with it the other way around. I'm in Oxford Circus. I'm on a conference call, and I'm on the phone. And somebody went, a dear old lady, an elderly lady, she goes, can I get my picture taken? And I'm on this call, and I went, so I'm on the phone, picture taken. I was like, and as she walked away, she went, I love you in the Great British Bake Off. And I didn't want to let her down, so for some reason I went, yes, thank you. At that moment, I walked into an optician's and got contact lenses. I walked into the barber's, I cut my hair, and I went to the shop and changed my clothes. That was the first thing that happened. It literally changed my entire style. Because every time the British Bake Off came on, 3,000 people thought they were the only people ever to crack that joke. I'll show you a little mathematical equation here. Oh, no, who put that there? It's the last time I worked for you lot ever. I mean, we don't look anything like each other. This is my Twitter profile. I'll show you it for a reason. It's just a little mathematical equation. 192,000 followers. And this is how many people I've muted. 314. Let me explain what I do. If it's a bot, politics bot, a porn bot, anything like that, you know when it's not a real person, I block. But anytime it's a steamer, I mute them. Because I don't want them to know. I don't want them to know that even know that they exist. Look at that number. 192,000 and only 34. That is Twitter to me. 99.765, yes, I worked it out, percentage positive. That's the bit that gets lost. You will never, ever see a headline in a newspaper that says 3,000 people reacted positively to tweet by famous person. You will never see that. There is way more good than bad. You know, just a little example, actually. This is a column I did recently, and I cared so. I do a column in Metro every Friday, and I care a lot about it, you know. And I wanted to find the perfect person to interview about Bury going out of business, the club. And the groundsman was a friend of a friend, and he hadn't done an interview. He still cuts the grass, even though they have no match. He goes in every day. And I'll just 3 examples, but when you go to bed nervous about something you've written and you really want it to do well, you get that instant reaction in the morning. It's absolutely priceless. But nobody wants to hear about the 99.625% of people who send nice things in. So let me move on to the trolls, who I'm so obsessed with. I love them because I don't take it seriously. It doesn't matter. I'm a football presenter. Any Man United fans in the room? Okay, there you go. All from London. It's interesting because I'm a Liverpool fan. I could go on TV and say Alex Ferguson was the greatest manager ever. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's absolutely. Rashford's the best striker in the world, and they'd still hate me. I just want to share with you some of the love I get from football fans being a football presenter. So, I just pick a few at random that you can have a look at. Getting straight to the point, what I like about this is somebody sat and thought about it. There are no words to describe how much I hate you, but if I had to choose one, I'd plump for inbred. Okay, good. Got to the point. The funny thing about first impressions is some presenters and people in the public eye, they're very straight away, you like them. Do you know what I mean? Good examples, and I'm like Des Lynam, if anyone's old enough, like you love that guy. I'm one of the most hateful people in first impressions. And then you do your job, and people watch or listen every week, and they get to know, I think, a bit of the real you. And they go, you know what? He's all right. So the most common tweets I get are ones that I can never work out whether they're trolling me or they're saying something nice. I get this every day. Tweets like this one. I used to think you were a bleep, but I'm enjoying the EFL highlights. Keep up the good work. And that happens quite a lot. It's funny, there's, as I said before, there's just so many lovely people on Twitter, but because I don't take offense, I think I migrate towards that very small amount. And I invented a game called Twitter Roulette. And I'm going to give you this game to take home with you. Type anyone's name followed by a word, right? So I've done this for me, and I've had to take one of the first 5 tweets that have came up. So I'm going to go through them for you here. Okay, so the first one I typed was Colin Murray beer, because I thought I'd get some good reactions to that. And this is what comes up. Twitter Roulette and people's names, brilliant. Non-alcoholic beer, Thrush, and Colin Murray are all more annoying than a buffering video. To be included in such a esteemed company on that list, that would be fantastic. I then typed in, and this one, I'm glad it came up actually, because it's the power of Twitter. And I think there's a few times in my life I've realized how powerful. I typed in Colin Murray man, and this picture of me. Nothing breaks the barrier down between a crowd like you see in an outline of the host penis. This tweet here, Colin Murray and Mankini, Northern Ireland were 1 match away from breaking the world record for not scoring a goal. That's how bad we were at the time. We were approaching 12 hours. And I tweeted out, this is 2014, I think, if Northern Ireland reach the Euros in 2016, I will personally run through Belfast city centre in a bleeping mankini. The next day we turned into Brazil. We qualified easily, and this is the result. That's the power of Twitter. Let me do another one here. Colin Murray sheep. Here's one for you. Instead of counting sheep to get to sleep, I'm going to count the number of ways in which I despise Colin Murray. It's a good game to play at home with the kids. I want you to take that away. Maybe Alex will play it with me later with his name. I might have set something up for you. But I did want to focus on this because I just laugh at it. But my favorite troll in the history of Twitter never swore, never insulted anybody. And this is one of my favorite Twitter accounts of all time. The guy's called Josh Patton. And he's a writer for Saturday Night Live. And I think we all agree that whether you like it or not, there's no Twitter account in the world quite like the leader of the free world's, Donald J. Trump. Every tweet he sends out creates mass support and mass anger. The vitriol's on there is a microcosm of what splits America today. Josh took a different tact altogether. Josh decided he would reply to Donald Trump's tweets, not as somebody who followed him on Twitter, but pretending that it was a personal text from Donald Trump and that he was Donald Trump's partner. I know you're confused. Let me give you an example. Getting ready to leave for Poland, after which I'll travel back to Germany for the G20. We'll be back on Saturday. Josh replied, call when you land. I'll give you a couple of these. I love them. We'll be at the women's US Open today. Okay, text if you need anything. I just love this guy so much. You got to follow him. And I'll give you this one. This might be my favorite reply to a tweet of all time. I'll be having lunch at the White House today. Cool, I think I'm just going to make some pasta. So sitting in a room with a small amount of people, I did want to just have I only get 15 minutes and I'm probably already over time. But I did just want to take a little journey through just some of the funny sides of Twitter and how I think, especially when Twitter started, it took 10 people to say something bad before anybody heard anything good. That's not my experience of Twitter at all. I use Twitter like I have no followers whatsoever. 99 out of 100 tweets that I send are replies to people. It tells me when I'm good. It tells me when I'm bad. It tells me when I've got something wrong. It tells me when I'm doing a good job. It tells me when I'm doing a bad job. It tells me when I could do better. That is priceless, and I think that's the way most people use Twitter. It's just not a headline in a newspaper. And I just want to finish with two moments that I felt privileged that I could share that moment with a touch of a button with people. Two great moments in my life connected to sport. And I should say, I don't use other social media, and I've tried and I can't because I don't want to tell people what I do. I'm a very private person. I want to share moments connected to my work more than anything. And I'm just going to show you this. Let me tell you the story behind this tweet. I'm doing the Euros in 2016, and Northern Ireland qualified for the first tournament since 1986. So it's the first one I've ever went to. And I'm sharing a flat for 3 weeks with Keith Gillespie. Now, if you don't know who Keith Gillespie is, Keith Gillespie's autobiography was called How Not to Be a Football Millionaire. He lost it all. He liked his drink, he liked his women, he liked his gambling and everything else. And I was trying to look after Keith, and I said to Keith, we beat Ukraine 2-0. I knew it was going to be a big, big night. It's one of the biggest results in our history. We're going to meet 6,000 fans in the centre of Lyon. And as we walked in, I said, Keith, do me a favour. Keep it a bit quiet and just stay below the radar. I hope this plays. 20 minutes later. Crowd surfing over the top of the Northern Ireland flag. Ladies and gentlemen, I know we're going to talk a little bit more about Alex. Thanks for humouring me. I don't make huge statements. I'm not looking to commentate and talk about Brexit on Twitter. I'm just looking to talk to people, spread a bit of love, and have some fun at trolls. And that's the story for me. Thanks for listening to my thread talk.